Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare Mode guide. Hope you're all doing well. Today I want to show you a different take on winning with the Ranger, which is a character that I have had a lot of people tell me they're struggling with, and I'm honestly not that surprised. The Ranger looks at first glance like it's going to be a fairly straightforward and powerful character, but lower max HP modifications are one of the most dangerous penalties in the game, and so this character I think is quite a bit harder than it looks like at first glance on Nightmare Mode. The Ranger also tries to trick the player by starting you with a pistol, which is a pretty weak weapon and pretty bad for the character, so I think a lot of players are getting into trouble because the game has this trap set for you. So today, what I'm going to do is show you a different way to beat the Ranger that makes it a little bit easier and overcomes some of the downsides of the normal build with just submachine guns and laser guns and just building guns as normal. So we're going to be using slingshot. And the reason for this is that slingshot gives us the primitive weapon tag. It works really, which helps offset our HP penalty, so we can tank a couple more hits and don't have to spend as much effort desperately scrounging for every point of HP. And it still works really well with the Ranger's bonus of gaining extra ranged damage every time you select ranged damage. I'll pick 5 harvesting here. I could roll for ranged damage, but when we get 5 harvesting right from the start, we'll take it. We'll buy a slingshot. We're going to sell this pistol immediately so that guns don't show up in the pool. I'm going to ban Peaceful Bee, and I'll ban Claw Tree as well. Neither of those are we interested in buying. We'll lock Fertilizer, ban Glasses, and then re-roll, buy a Slingshot, ban Toxic Sludge, and roll and buy another Slingshot. And we'll lock Baby Gecko as well. Of course, with this weapon, we're going to be leaving materials all over the ground, so Baby Gecko will pay for itself pretty quickly. The advantages of using Slingshot on the Ranger are it still scales really well with your passive, so the bonus range damage is extremely effective on this weapon. It gives you the primitive weapon tag, so you can tank the occasional hit. You don't have to spend as much money on health. There's also a couple other small benefits of using this weapon. You are very likely to find additional copies of it, because as the Ranger, you can't equip melee weapons. Normally, the primitive weapons category is one of the largest. It's the most primitive weapons of basically any weapon other than guns. And so you're not that likely to find more slingshots when you're looking for slingshots. For the Ranger, you can't find the melee weapons. Only slingshots and javelins can appear from the primitive weapon category. And so you're actually very likely to be able to level this weapon up, and it's a weapon that cares a lot about being leveled. Because I found this slingshot, I decided to just lock it and buy Fertilizer here, rather than keep rolling. You'll notice that on Danger 5, I usually would buy Fertilizer before buying weapons, but on Nightmare Mode, I've moved Fertilizer down. It's no longer the only item that I'll buy in the first 2 waves that isn't a weapon. Now there are no items that I'll buy in the first 2 waves that isn't a weapon, except if we can afford the Fertilizer and couldn't afford another weapon, as was the case here. We're gonna pick up the attack speed. I'm gonna need ranged damage as well, but we really just want attack speed and damage as quickly as possible. 2 lifesteal would have been good also, but it's so important that I start building ranged damage as early as we can. This weapon scales tremendously with it, because while it only has 80% scaling, that's across every shot. So basically, if you buy it on a level 1 slingshot, it's 160% damage scaling, because it's 80% times 2. On a level 3, it's 240%, and so on. We'll definitely take these 2 items, and we'll go to wave 4 here. Slingshot, of course, also levels really well, because you get an extra attack every time you level it up. Going from a level 1 slingshot with 2 bounces to a level 2 with 3 bounces is basically like adding 50% attack speed to your weapon. So the Ranger's ability to find more slingshots is a pretty significant buff to this weapon, since it levels so incredibly well. So not only does it synergize with the character pretty well, the character synergizes with the weapon pretty well. We'll ban Cute Monkey. We never want to reduce our ranged damage. And then I'm going to roll here, take 3 ranged damage, thanks to our passive. We'll roll here as well and take another 1.5. We'll buy slingshot, buy lens. Gummy berserker, even though we need attack speed, this item is just too weak. Losing armor is just too bad, so we're gonna roll past that. Or we'll ban it, and then we're gonna roll here. I'm hoping for more weapon levels, but I'll take a fertilizer, lock a hedgehog, and then roll again, and we can lock a slingshot as well. We did get a cursed item, so I could just take the medical gun. This is a pretty good cursed weapon. It's a ranged weapon. It gives us a bunch of healing. I think I will take it. Obviously, I had intended to just show you the run with only slingshots, but of course, with this run, you can still mix in other weapons if you do have good weapons that appear in the shop. And, you know, a cursed medical gun isn't the best weapon of all time, and we may sell it later, but it's a pretty powerful boost to our damage in the early game here, and it gives us a bunch of healing with the 81% lifesteal per shot that it has, so we're pretty happy to pick it up. As always, you just have to be adaptive in this game. If you get an item that draws you in a certain direction, you should usually go in that direction. As long as it fits into the core plan of what you're trying to do with your character. Here, I'm going to roll. I'll take 8 more harvesting. I think it's early enough that we can do that. And then we'll go ahead and buy this. We'll combine here and buy this. We'll buy the hedgehog. I'm not going to buy the level 1 medical gun. We're only buying because it's a cursed weapon that we want. And we'll take corrupted shard, lock a loot worm, and re-roll. Re-roll again. Lock a cursed slingshot. That's incredible. And then we'll take propeller hat and cyclops worm as well. So really solid chops there. We've got a pretty nice cursed gun. We have a cursed slingshot coming up, which is going to be a lot of damage as well. Now, one thing that we do have is slightly lower HP because I bought the medical gun, so we lost 1 tick of the primitive weapon tag. Notice that after I took that hit from the enhanced anemone, that was more than half my health, but because of the cursed medical gun, we healed it back up pretty quickly. That, and of course, some normal consumable healing. This is the Abyss, so we do have to be careful of the pufferfish. We have to be careful of the blobfish summoning a lot of lampreys. We'll definitely take this. That's 4.5 ranged damage for 1 damage selection. And then we'll take 10 luck as well. If only that was ranged damage, we would be so happy. We'll buy slingshot, loot worm, and propeller hat, and we'll re-roll here. I'll take a vigilante ring as well, and I do still want to buy HP. Even with the primitive weapon tag, you still need to focus on increasing your HP. Jelly, when you have 2 different weapons, is fairly efficient, so we will take it. And then I was rolling there, hoping to find a weapon level. We didn't, but that's okay. Gonna clear out that walrus, and that, of course, killing those like high health enemies is what the ranger is good at as well. Even if slingshot generally struggles with them, this character's increased damage means that you can deal with that type of high health enemy very quickly. And try to take out this loot alien if we can, and we did, and double crate this wave is also very nice. Decomposing flesh, even though it costs us health, so the -1 max HP, the negative HP will still use the HP modifier, so it's only -0.75 HP. Basically, it works the same, where we no longer gain HP from leveling up. But lifesteal is still really good with this weapon set, so we are going to take that. We'll take the padding here. I'm going to re-roll looking for ranged damage, and we'll take the ranged damage. I need armor, of course, as well, but getting ranged damage early is the most important thing. I will take a sharp bullet. This weapon, of course, has bounces, which are good for AoE damage already, but sharp bullet improves our AoE damage significantly, so I am going to take that, and it's going to be really good when we get to the horde wave as well. There will be times where the bounce because Pierce happens after Bounce, there will be times where we don't benefit from Sharp Bullet. So it's not quite as good as it is for other weapons, but it's still very powerful. And Slingshot weirdly can struggle with clearing lots of enemies at once, because it has these additional bounces, but it can often take multiple attacks to kill an enemy. And so if you have a lot of enemies on the screen at once, sometimes it'll bounce between a lot of different enemies and not actually kill any of them. Just get them all to half health or whatever. So piercing helps with that, because when the bounce hits a crowd of enemies, the pierce will go off, and you're going to be decreasing the total health pool of enemies significantly. Basically, with Slingshot, because the damage is spread out, you're comparing the total damage that your character does to the total health of every enemy on the field at all times, and you want your number to be bigger than their number. I'll take 15 attack speed, even though this is 3 range damage, because attack speed is very important. We'll buy the bag here. I'll buy fresh meat. I will take a wings. I think that this is a good spot to buy wings in, because we need the movement speed. Range is okay for slingshots as well. You can bounce attacks from further away, but mostly this is for the move speed. Here we will be able to upgrade our slingshot and upgrade our cursed medical gun, which I will do. It's still it's still out damaging most of our other weapons, actually. It's about on par with our cursed slingshot, so really not performing badly at all. Then I'll do one more reroll here. I'll lock the Insanity. Slingshot does have 2x crit damage, and then I could buy the plant and get back to 0 regen if I wanted to build regen. I could lock it, because we're buying everything else and we can ban it for a reroll. I think I'm going to lock it here. Although, actually, I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to afford everything else. So, for safety's sake, I won't lock it, even if I could maybe get myself a guaranteed free reroll there. This wave should typically be fairly easy for Slingshot, because you can just bounce your attacks off of the Hatcher and they'll clear everything else on the map. Although the Cursed Enhanced Squid can be really scary. That guy just does so much damage. I'm going to need some armor and, of course, a little more max HP, but our max HP is much more where you would normally want it at this point in the run, compared to where the Ranger would usually be at, because we're playing with Slingshot, so we have significantly higher max HP from the primitive tag and can survive a hit or two. 500 materials that way. If we'll take the weird food, we'll recycle the cog. Here, I'm going to take 9 HP over the 3 lifesteal, because I do want to get my health to a reasonable value. If there wasn't this ranged damage upgrade, I might consider buying dodge. Dodge, of course, is worse on this character because our health is lower, but it is still a way to increase our defensive capabilities, and if we get a bunch for free, then it could be fine, but instead we're just going to take 3 damage. It's basically the equivalent of buying a level 3 range damage upgrade. As it happens, I definitely would have had enough to buy everything else and then ban the plant, but we can also just ban Terrified Onion, get our reroll here. Do I want to spend 24 on 1 curse by buying Pencil? The engineering is useless, but the curse is good. I think it is worth doing that. Metal Plate is great. We definitely needed more armor. What's my knockback situation? -3, so buying Boxing Glove is useless here. We'll buy Lens, we'll reroll, and then we'll buy Bag as well. Cursed Lemonade, of course, is great. Normally, with the primitive weapon tag, I wouldn't consider buying defective steroids, because it just decreases my damage. But maybe it's an okay spot to do it here. We could also potentially buy, because I need the max HP before the Elite Wave, I could potentially buy Blunderbuss. That could help me kill the Elite a little bit faster. If this was a level 3 Blunderbuss, I probably would. As a level 2, I don't think we're going to take it. I will buy Catling Gun. Of course, we're buying a lot of ranged damage, so the Catling Gun can just be a little bit of extra clear speed for us. Catling Gun, I think, is the equivalent of buying like a third of a weapon, usually. It's not going to do as much damage as your actual guns, but it'll contribute, and a third of a weapon or sort of leveling one weapon from level 1 to level 2 is a good way to think about it, is still a valuable purchase pretty frequently. And clear out these lampreys. Now, the cursed lampreys do have a lot of health, so we have to be a little careful about them. Getting some good income in the center of the map here. I want more attack speed, I need armor, and of course we need as much damage as we can possibly pick up. But we're making very good money. Okay, Fairy, this is a reason to switch from lifesteal to regen, or rather just have both. And now we've got 16 regeneration, which is great. I'll take 8% damage here, and then I would love to pick up ranged damage or attack speed, but I think just taking 3 armor and going to 6 is going to be the thing that gives us the most survivability. Banner is really nice, the attack speed is good, and the range, like I said, is relevant for this weapon. We'll take the feather, we'll take the whistle. Both of those are really good when they come with an extra regen. And then, even when they don't, we're still going to take the feather. I will combine here and upgrade my cursed weapon to level 4. Buy the level 1, we'll buy the feather, lock a fresh meat, and reroll. And we'll take improved tools. It's a very expensive way to buy attack speed, but attack speed is one of the most important stats in the game in general, and especially when the numbers we're multiplying are so good. Remember that this character has increased base damage, and every shot is multiple shots. So every point of attack speed that we buy is significantly more damage than it looks like on paper, because it's multiplying very large numbers. I like watching the enemies spawn right under our Gatling gun, and then it just immediately gets mad and takes them out. Like if I put a treat in front of my cat while he's sleeping. Takes him a second, but then he'll wake up and go, ah! We'll pick up the landmines here. We'll take the duct tape. Yes, it costs me 1.5 health, but the armor is very important. We'll take the lost duck here, and then... so this would be a spot where I could consider taking 60 range if this ranged damage wasn't here. Obviously, we're taking +3 ranged damage. We'll buy this. Another Vigilante ring will take a long time to pay off. We've already gotten 12% damage from it, but we're on wave 12, so I think it is worth taking, and I'm feeling like we can fight the elite reasonably well. If I was a little more desperate for damage to fight this elite, I wouldn't take the Vigilante ring, because it doesn't help us in this next wave, of course. Yeah, I'm going to buy these. I'll take the baby elephant, because it gives us a regen as well. So, of course, our HP is quite low. Our max HP is still quite low. So that's a danger when fighting the elite, but our damage is good and our healing is excellent. So as long as I don't take a million hits all in a row, we should be okay. Now, this elite, it is easy to take a million hits in a row from, because it attacks in those long, stretched-out patterns, and you can easily walk into multiple attacks from the same attack pattern against that elite, but I was able to get through it without taking a hit. Then I immediately ruined it by taking a hit from the other enemies. And clear that curse alien, clear these lampreys, including the cursed ones, and then it looks like my Catling gun killed the curse alien. I'm not really paying attention to what the Catling gun is doing. I could be standing near it if I felt like I needed to keep it aggroed to protect me, but mostly we're just using it as a little extra damage. Greek Fire, unfortunately, is one of the red items we just have to get rid of here. It costs 3 regen to pick it up, and it doesn't do anything. So we're gonna just take the money. We'll take 7 crit chance. We'll buy this whole shop. Buying Pumpkin, of course, because we have Sharp Bullet. And then we'll re-roll. We'll buy a slingshot upgrade. Ratzilla, is that worth taking when it gives me a regen? I don't think so, not for 81. And then I'll take a Scar. I don't need a bandana. We already have Sharp Bullet. We don't need more Pierce. I mean, do I want a level 1 cursed medical gun? I guess I do. I'll just keep buying cursed ranged weapons as they appear. For 50, do I want 1 regen? I think not. Because we have negative knockback, so the boxing glove does literally nothing else. What I really need at this point is just some max HP and armor. Our damage is in very good shape. But we're about to lose 3 more max HP. Or, I guess, 2.3 more max HP. No, 2.25 more max HP from losing another tick of the primitive weapon tag. Oh, I should not have let that mini-boss spawn. I actually thought that I had killed the egg. I didn't see that it had finished spawning here. And because it spawned cursed, that's going to cost me a lot of income this wave. Fortunately, I think our cats killed the loot alien anyways, but I really should have killed that that egg. We'll take the boiling water here. I'll take the baby squid. We're going to end up with a lot of regen as a result of that. And then here, I will take even more ranged damage over the armor in this particular case. We'll go ahead and combine by the medical gun, by gentle alien and cyclops worm. We can level our slingshot again. I'll buy plant when it comes with even more regeneration, and we'll take another weird food. We'll roll here. The level 2 medical gun, unfortunately, is a level that we can't use. So we'll re-roll. Level 1 slingshot. I guess I can buy that. We can combine these two. And we'll lock a gentle alien as well. I'm at 35 HP, so I do need to be pretty careful, because we've not managed to boost my max HP, and because I bought these medical guns, we're playing at lower health than I had intended when we started this run. But we're not going to turn down the powerful cursed gun when offered, when it's offered to us. Even the level 1 cursed weapon is worth picking up. Even a medical gun, which isn't like the ideal weapon for this character or anything. But cursed weapons are so powerful, it's almost always worth swapping to them if they fit your damage type and plan. Because as soon as we find a level 1 medical gun, we can upgrade this to a level 2 cursed medical gun, and that's when you start getting some real advantages. I should be in the, not in the bottom right corner, or not in the bottom corner, because that's where the projectiles come from. I will take the eye patch. The piercing shots are okay, and in fact, if we'd had more pierce in that wave, we'd have gotten more wave clear. But in particular, the crit chance is good. I'm going to roll here. The 1 range damage was good, but I was hoping for a higher level upgrade, and what an upgrade, 20% attack speed. And then here, I'm going to roll, I think... Okay, so I was going to roll for max HP, 4.5 range damage, or 15 attack speed, very tempting, but I think we'll take the armor. 7 armor is definitely too low, so I want to fix that. We can still buy all of these items, so we will. Reroll here, we can buy a slingshot level. Another baby squid at this point I don't really want, because it'll just not give me enough healing and enough regen by the end of the run. Book for 50 for 1 regen. I think I'll pass on that. We will buy the level 1 medical gun. It's a little late for black belt. I have 34% XP gain. I think I need health more, so I'm going to roll here, and I will lock the butterfly because that just gives me a lot of healing. But basically, I'm just looking for 1 good health upgrade, and then I think we're home free. While also continuing to buy normal items, of course. I think that's something that I don't communicate enough, is often I'll say something like, all we need in order to win this run is such and such, or all we need, what we're looking for is this type of thing. And I think that confuses people, because to me, it's implied all we're looking for, what we're looking for primarily is this, but of course, we're still going to keep scaling our character naturally, and so I'll get a lot of comments that are like, you said you needed attack speed, but then you bought things that weren't attack speed. Because we're just continuing to scale our character while prioritizing finding attack speed. You can't just go all in unless something is you're in very, very specific circumstances. You rarely want to just hard roll for a single stat. I'll take the Ugly Tooth here, we'll recycle the laser turret, and then I could take 4 lifesteal, I could take 3 ranged damage. I think I just want the damage here. Okay, a level 4 cursed slingshot. Do I sell the level 2 medical gun or level 2 slingshot? I guess I'll sell the level 2 slingshot. It's just doing less damage. And then we'll buy these items. We'll re-roll. I'll take the jelly, because I definitely needed more HP. Railgun I don't think is worth... We have no dodge, so the railgun doesn't do that much. We'll take the insanity, and then we'll go to wave 16. Still looking for a good health upgrade. The jelly was a small amount, but I would really like to get to about 50, 60 health before the end of the run, and that means we need to find something that gives us a lot of health at once. All those vampire squids spawning at the same time, evenly spaced around me, was actually pretty dangerous. Which is a risk of having Gentle Alien. The extra enemy spawns allowed that to happen. But because they spawned all completely evenly spaced in a circle, it made the dodging there a little bit harder. Walked right into that enemy because I enraged it and didn't notice. So I thought that we were going to kill it. I assumed that my damage was plenty to kill it before I walked into it, but it had gained power in the interim. We'll take the attack speed here, and then I'll buy the insanity. We'll re-roll. First flamethrower I don't think we're interested in. I'll take the jerky. I'll roll here. Okay, so I could sell a level 4 for a cursed level 1. I guess that is worth it. And then I'm going to re-roll. I wish this was a level 1, actually. Because the cursed level 1 is worse than the level 4, but it gives me the option to upgrade it if we find a level 1. Still haven't found any HP items, so I will have to start rolling more aggressively for HP soon. Aggro my Catling gun there to make sure that we kill the elite just a little bit faster before I can walk into too many attacks. That loot alien did not have a good day. It fawned, whistled, and popped immediately. And yeah, you can see why having low maximum health is a risk for any character. I walked into 2 attacks there and put myself in quite a bit of danger. So I just need a little bit more max HP. We're going to probably roll in this level up screen until we can buy a 6 or a 9 max HP upgrade. And okay, losing 3 ranged damage is pretty bad. 5% lifesteal is good. 20% dodge is a lot of dodge at once. I think I will take the cape here. I'll take this. It's just plus 24% damage. And then I would like to take this, but I think we just need max health. So I am going to roll until we find a max health upgrade. And then we're going to take the silver bullet. We'll take the honey because it increases our ranged damage. Scar, we don't need this late in the run. Okay, there we go. This is what we were hoping for. We'll take the panda. I could sell my level 4 slingshot for the level 3 blunderbuss. It might help me kill the bosses faster, but I don't think it'll be faster enough. And it'll cost me a little bit of max health, which is still at a premium even after we found the panda. Because of the unique circumstances of this run where we bought all these cursed medical guns, we have a little bit less health to play with than we normally would. Also because I bought decomposing flesh, which means that we're kind of back to prioritizing getting health the way you would in a gun version of the Ranger. Whereas with the slingshot version, typically you can be a little less aggressive about buying health. A lot of explosions there at the end, but no big deal. All right, Gentle Alien's great. That's more max health, more damage. I'm going to roll here, and I'm going to roll again. I'm still just looking for, even though we have the Panda locked, which is worth a lot of HP, like we were saying, all we need is to get to a reasonable HP value, and then I'm feeling very confident about this run. Do I want a Cursed Rocket Launcher? I could sell this, which is dealing 8,000 damage. I think if this was level 3, I would buy it, but I don't think it's worth spending 184 on just for the bosses, where Rocket Launcher honestly isn't even that good, because it attacks really slowly, and the AoE damage from the explosions just doesn't matter. So now we're going to hit level 25. I'm going to buy armor with my level 25 upgrade, because we have 10, which is fine, but if we had 15, I'd be a lot happier. 15 armor and 60 health. Still, obviously, on the very low side, but enough that we can take a couple hits from the bosses. And so even if my movement is really bad in the boss wave, which has been known to happen occasionally, we'll still be able to win. So we're just trying to hit our kind of breakpoints for where we're not going to be in trouble, even if I mess up my my actual mechanics. And sure, we'll take the eye patch. I'll recycle this. Yeah, I'll take the alien worm. Attack speed is really important, but I guess I'll take missile when it shows up in a box. I'm going to roll here looking for armor. 12 dodge is also tempting, but I think that armor is still just too important, so we'll keep rolling till we find it. Okay, minigun gives me a lot of healing from lifesteal as well, so I think I will, and it's going to be way more damage, so I think I will sell this slingshot, buy the minigun. We'll buy range damage here, we'll buy some more max HP, we'll roll, and then I'll pick up the corrupted shard. So actually the little muscly dude was only +2 HP, because we have padding, but still +2 HP is not bad. Though, if I hadn't bought it, I could have bought the small magazine, which I would have preferred. Let's re-roll here. A medical gun upgrade would have been nice as well. First level 1 slingshot doesn't really do anything. I could buy the coupon for 1 health, or for 1 regen, so I guess I will do that. We don't lose a health to the padding, and we do gain a regen, so let's take our 65 health, 15 armor, which isn't horrible, but not great, and we'll see if we can kill the bosses. Easy way to fight the bosses on this wave is just to kind of slowly walk away from them. If you just kind of walk away from them on a slight angle, all of their attacks will miss you. And so those the bosses on the Abyss, typically you should be able to overcome fairly easily. Looking at our items here, I'm curious about our weapons. So 13k, 10k, 14k, 13, 12, and 15. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with the weapon set that we went with. The cursed weapons perform very well. Even overperforming the slingshots on the last wave, where the slingshots are at their worst when there's that few enemies on the map. And then the minigun was really nice, giving me a bunch of lifesteal and, of course, dealing the most damage. We had 255 materials from our loot worm, really good there, right before we rolled over from the extra integer. We had 630 materials from bags, so great performance from the bags, especially when we didn't have that much luck. 66 damage from our Vigilante rings, helping to contribute to our 140% damage at the end, which is great. Fairy, of course, a lot of regen from that. 100,000 damage from our Catling guns. We had 2 and 1 was cursed, but still very powerful there. And 10k from the baby elephant, which we got in a box. 7 regen from the squid, and that's it. And then our coupon, of course, saved us 0 because we bought it right at the end just for a regen. Alright, my friends, I hope that you enjoyed that look at the Ranger, and I hope that if this is one you've been struggling with, if the gun build isn't working for you, the slingshot build, I think, is a great alternate take on winning with this character, where you don't get as much damage, but you do get a lot more health, and so it can be a little more forgiving if you find that you're making movement mistakes occasionally when playing the character, which can be very punishing with the very low health. As always, of course, if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.